Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Nights with Phil. I hope you all are staying cool, and tonight we are discussing choices, because I was trying to remember back to last week. Catherine, am I live?
Yep.
Okay, so Jasper's not here again tonight because he made a choice not to be here. He's away. And so Catherine is filling in for me. So tonight I want to talk about choices and the importance of choices and how it was explained to me from the other side. Hi everyone, I'll answer your question shortly. So, for you guys, for people who are just tuning in and don't know a lot about me, a lot of what I do is run through my guide, who I've mentioned to you before. And I got my guide, my second guide, when I was in my early 20s. His name is Isaac. So a lot of what I have learned, I learned from the other side, and I learned from my own experiences and me applying the lessons that the other side has given me. So way back in the day, when I had this conversation with Isaac about choices, his answer to me was simply this: Phil, choices are something that are very precious, because some people, or a lot of people, do not have choices. And if you have choices in your life, you are gifted, because it allows you to make healthier decisions. And for the few people who don't have choices or have no control over things that happen in their life, they have to suffer through certain pains. But when you have a choice, it's an excellent thing, because it gives you the opportunity to evaluate where you want to go and what you're going to do with your life. So no matter what the choice is, we are accountable and we are responsible for what we're about to do. Sorry, I'm messing with this camera. So Isaac always taught me to treat choices as something that's very valuable, and to try and play the situation through and see where it's going to lead us. A lot of people come in to me and say, Phil, how did I get here in my life? How did I arrive to this place? How did I get into this mess? How did I not be able to see this before? And what happens is your family comes through to me, and what they do is, it's kind of like a movie being played, only it's played backwards. And they show me your life going backwards rather than forwards in this point, because I'm looking for key points that happen in your contractual path that you made choices in order to get you to where you got to. And then from that point, we can look at it and say, how do we make healthier choices? It's so easy to make an unhealthy choice. It's so easy to put other people before us than put ourselves first. We talked about this last week, so about the throat chakra. But choices are all driven from the heart chakra, love and passion. Because every choice we make, what is it about? Is it going to make me feel good? Is it going to make me feel better? Is it going to get me to the next place? We don't make choices saying, this is going to hurt. This is going to cause pain. We try to avoid all of those things. But the spiritual choices that we put ourselves through, even though we know it's going to be difficult, the payoff is going to be worth it, because our gut will never lie to you about making a healthy choice. Your heart, on the other hand, will lie to you. Your heart will say, oh, I want this handbag. Oh, I want this candy, Phil. Oh, I want this car. Because sometimes we make choices to fill voids. Sometimes we make choices to get away from pain. Sometimes we make choices to escape from trauma. Sometimes we just want to numb ourselves from life, because pain and society and everything else is just creeping up on us. So we make choices that are not necessarily good for us, but they're effective at the time. But what we try to do is spiritually look, the choice that I'm about to make, does it affect my life in a positive way? Or does it affect my life in a negative way? Or does it affect people around me? And is it hurting their lives? Or is it benefiting their lives? And am I being the best soul that I can be? Because again, the only reason we came here is to spiritually evolve. We came here to evolve and collect as much information as possible. A lot of times I have people coming in and they have a relationship issue. That is a relationship either with husband and wife, brother, sister, co-worker, whatever it is. And one of the questions that people ask, should I allow this person back into my life? Should I open my doors again to this individual because I want to give them a second chance? And I always tell people that when someone shows you who they are, Maya Angelou, believe them. When people's actions show you who they are, you have full knowledge who you're allowing back into your life. It's fine that the other person says, I've changed, I've grown, or whatever, but it's the actions that matter. And that's what choices are all about. It's about making good choices, good actions in order to evolve you and get you where you want. You never want to get caught up in gossip. You never want to get caught up in the negative things, because what that does, it prevents us from moving forward in our life. If you're looking for a better job, always take the high road. Always say, how is the next choice going to get here? I have a lot of people that sit in and say, this job is dead weight, or it's not working for me. And I always remind them, jobs are hard to come by. Be patient. Sometimes choices are, I have to sit still. Sometimes choices are, I can't rush through this. I need to see the experience as it unfolds. Sometimes the choices are just sitting on your hands and saying, don't do anything and let's see what happens. But as long as the choice benefits you, as long as the choice spiritually evolves you and doesn't hurt anybody else, then we know that it's coming from the gut, which is the solar plexus. We know that it's coming from light. We know that you're going to be guided into a healthy place, even if it seems crazy. I've said this many times before, many years ago, that when I told people that my career is going to be a medium, they laughed at me. And I made the choice that I was going to see this through. Here I am. So, but it certainly didn't come without doubt. But the point of it was, I trusted my gut. And the gut never lies, and I can't reinforce that enough with people. When your gut tells you halt, when it tells you to slow down, when it tells you to wait, it's for a reason. It's not trying to delay you, because again, the soul doesn't want to be delayed on the path. What it's saying is, witness what's in front of you. Take in all the experience that you can, because there's something here to be learned, regardless why we like it or not. And that's the hard part about choices. And the second part that I learned about choices and spirituality was, and it sucks, responsibility. When we choose to do something, we have to take the responsibility that comes along with it. So oftentimes before we get into things, there's either red flags or there's either a message coming from us or the other side saying, do this or don't do this. Doubt means don't. It doesn't mean never. It just means halt. It just means wait for a moment, let this pass, and let's see what happens. But the other side, your family members and everybody that comes into this office and has readings, their whole purpose is to help you get down your path without any lumps and bumps. And what they want to show you is, if you take this path, this is where it's going to bring you. If you take this path, this is what's going to happen. Eventually, we come back to our path. It's just a matter of, do I want my will to dictate where I'm going, or do I want to trust in the process? And let me tell you, it is difficult trusting in the process. Don't for a second think I sit here and, oh, this is just so easy for Phil. I have fallen many, many times in order to get to this space. I've had to go through many lessons in order to understand. And most importantly, I try to apply to what Isaac tells me to do. Now, everybody thinks, well, Phil's got a guide, so it's easy. So here's how this works for Phil. I get no information about myself whatsoever. If I ask Isaac a question, I do not get a response. If I ask a question about you guys, I get a response. So, but when it comes to me, he's not allowed to give me information about myself, because he would be interfering with my path. I see it. Go ahead, Catherine. I see a hand.
How do I stop leading from the heart chakra and start listening to my gut?
How do I stop? Say that again, Catherine.
Leading from the heart chakra and start listening to my gut.
So the heart chakra, again, that we've talked in our previous things, our heart chakra's primary purpose is to make you feel better. The solar plexus, the gut, right above the navel, is your warning signs. It tells you what to do and what not to do. And we have to look, is the heart telling me to fill a void? Is the heart telling me to go shopping? Is the heart telling me to go drinking? Is the heart telling me to go gambling? Is the heart telling me to go running? Is the heart telling me to exercise? Or is the gut telling me, stay the course, don't make any moves, and just wait? So again, this is all to deal with feelings, and what you want to say is, in the situation that you're looking at, is this about feelings, or is this about furthering myself spiritually? And that's the two differences that we see. Go ahead, Jasper. Sorry, Jasper. Oh, sorry. Jasper, you're not here. Go ahead, Catherine.
Why do I keep making the same poor choices? At the time, I'm absolutely certain I am right.
Great question. Why do I keep making the same choices over and over again? Because in that moment, I believe that I'm right. I believe that I'm right because that's the heart chakra dominating. The heart wants what the heart wants, and it will make you believe that you absolutely should have this or want this person in your life or need this person in your life or job or whatever. So it is absolutely going to drive you to do certain things. So what was the last part of that question, Catherine? Doesn't matter, but it's, so go ahead, I see a hand.
I'm trying to get Deanne's comment up.
Okay.
In the meantime, why do I let people talk me out of making the right choices? I always think others know better.
So why do I allow people to talk me out of the right choices? Because I believe other people know better. Most importantly, we allow people to talk us out of things because we don't want to take the responsibility for our own decisions. See, if you keep making decisions for me, I can always blame you. I can always say, well, you're the one that told me to do it. So if you keep making choices for your children or your spouse or whoever it is, and you never allow them to grow and you never allow them to evolve, they will always blame you. We can guide, but we never want to live someone's path for them. Listen, I have made that mistake myself, you know, so, and I've evolved from it, and I was trying to help an individual, or I thought I was, but really I was holding them back, and it was at that moment I had to learn how to step back. Go ahead, Catherine.
Deanne asks, when you're stuck and in a grieving state, how do you get unstuck to feel your gut again, to know what choices to make?
So when we're stuck and in a grieving state, Deanne, unfortunately there's no way to accelerate grief. And I meet a lot of people that want to accelerate the grief to get past it, and there really isn't a way to do that. So one of the ways really to get unstuck is acceptance, and this is what we were talking about with choices, that we accept that the person has passed, that we accept that we have lost whatever, why it's a job or why it's a relationship or whatever it is, but grief cannot be rushed. And you make a choice to say, I'm going to go through this and let this unfold. Go ahead, Catherine.
Do you think we make choices, maybe not the best for us, but feel maybe the lesser of the evil, so to say?
Do you think we make choices knowing maybe they're not best for us, but maybe for yes, we absolutely do. We make choices based on, hi Jasper, Catherine filling in for you, and she's struggling, but she's doing great. So we make choices? So really what you're saying is, I'm going to make a choice here. This is the lesser of two evils, and it's going to keep the situation quiet. Yes, we have to make those choices. But if you take that circumstance out and you just put this into your daily life and say, am I making the choices that I need to make in order to allow the other side to constantly communicate with me so that I have open communication, I know what's best for me rather than other people deciding for me? Go ahead, Jess. Oh, Catherine. Oh my goodness.
Kathleen asks, what if you're trying to listen to your gut, but you can't seem to get an answer?
So it means wait. So again, if you're listening to your gut and you can't get an answer and you don't have an answer, it means don't make a move. It just means be still. The other side is unfolding or helping you figure out what's going on. So again, it just means pause. Doesn't mean never, it just means pause. Go ahead, Catherine. Oh, this is terrible. This is awful. I'm so used to saying Jasper.
If I repeat relationship behavior, what is it that I'm not learning that I keep winding up in a similar situation?
So, if I'm repeating relationship behavior, more likely you're picking broken people. And here's what happens. I've said this before. A wounded bird does not land at our doorstep intentionally. It falls there because it can't travel any longer. So what happens is, after we heal this person and after this person is with us and we love them and we take care of them, all of a sudden they fly off. A lot of people will choose the same relationship thinking that if I love this person, if I help this person, if I show them that I'm not going to leave them, betray them, cheat on them, whatever, they're never going to leave me. Here's the rule, and this is what I've learned from the other side. You cannot fix something you didn't cause. So let's say Phil gets into a relationship and the person who I'm dating has had previous relationships where somebody was unfaithful to them and they're projecting onto me. I cannot heal them. I'm not the one that caused the trauma. I'm not the one that caused the pain. So I have to realize that this isn't my baggage, that's yours. So you never want to take on someone else's baggage. You want to be able to help them sort through it, but you never want to do the work for them. Otherwise, you're delaying their process and you're delaying your own process. So if you're constantly picking the same relationship, look at the theme and say, this is what I'm going to eliminate. Go ahead, Catherine.
Why is it that I can make wise choices with my career, but when it comes to relationships, I fail every time.
So, why is it that I can make a wise... So, hey, listen, you can be great at your job and shitty at life, by the way. This is just part of the process. We didn't come here perfect. So we came here strong in certain things and maybe weak in other things. Some people are really great at life and not great at their job. Some people are great at their job but still trying to figure out their life. Remember, each of us picked different contracts to come here. And because we chose these contracts, they're not all the same. So you're not supposed to be perfect at everything, because if you were, then you would have no reason to be on Earth. Go ahead, Catherine.
Carlene wants to know, because we reincarnate, which family will we be with when we pass away?
Oh, yeah, great question. So after you reincarnate, and which family will you be with? We tend to reincarnate in groups. So our parents pass over, our siblings pass over, we pass over, and then we tend to reincarnate as a group. You make that choice. You choose your family. You choose the relationships you're going to have. You choose if you're going to be the parents the next time around or if you're going to be the siblings. But you choose your parents. I know some of you may not like that, but we do choose our family. And the reason why we choose our family is because we know that certain lessons are going to be met within this family unit, and that's why the soul is coming through. Go ahead, Catherine.
You said before we choose our parents. Why in the world would I choose alcoholic parents? So
I said before we choose our parents, why would I choose an alcoholic household? Or why would I choose a drug household? Or why would I choose an abusive household? Remember, our past shapes us, our childhood shapes us. So it can shape us in negative or a positive. We choose. So I grew up in Northern Ireland. It was a war-torn country, and I chose as a child that I wasn't going to become part of the hate. Some people aren't going to like that who are in Northern Ireland, but I just didn't hate the other side. It wasn't in me. But I made that choice, even though the rest of the people around us were still fighting for our lives and all of these things. So again, choices, responsibility. I'm reading this, trying to listen to Catherine all of this here, so I may get off where I'm going. Go ahead, Catherine.
Betty wants to know, then some of the family must reincarnate before we do, since they become the parents?
Correct. So what happens is, again, your family will get over there, our husbands, wives, children, and then we decide who's going to go first. So maybe two souls go down first. They're going to meet their paths, and the kids come in later, and after you guys meet, and then that's how it unfolds. So yes, a set of souls will always go first. Go ahead.
Linda wants to know, so you say you learn and grow on your path. Does the path just continue with other lessons, or do you only come to accomplish a finite amount of lessons?
So lessons are endless. So it all depends on what you want to work on. Some people come here, they're fear of speaking, so they have to work on the throat chakra. Some people come here to work solely on the heart chakra. Some people come here because they're working on the third eye, whatever it is. So it's not just one set of lessons. Again, we reincarnate many times over and over. Because spiritually we want to evolve with God, meaning that we want to go through the chakra system, we want to go through evolution, and we want to get to a place where things don't simply bother us. New souls are very, very intrigued. Old souls are very calm and gentle, and old souls are a necessity. We need old souls to come back because it teaches humanity a lot of new tricks and a lot of new medicines or a lot of new devices or whatever it may be. So I have seen old souls repeat over and over again. And even in children who are extremely gifted, and why it's their progeny or whatever, it can be an old soul that was once a fantastic musician re-entering into a body in order to bring new music to earth. Go ahead, Catherine.
Shannon wants to know, so will my husband go with his parents/siblings?
It said it dropped connection. Am I still on? So will my so part of the question here, am I on, Catherine?
Yep, you're on.
Okay, so part of the question here is, will my husband go with me or his parents? So no, if you establish it depends on the lifetime. Thanks, honey. If you're, it depends on the lifetime. Like Jasper and I hopefully will cross over, and then we'll see our families over there, blah, blah, blah. So, and then we'll decide if we're going to redo this again. But if you still, see, some people meet their spouses because they're just going to bring souls into the world, children into the world, but they have no other connection after that. They divorce, so on and so forth. And then some people meet their spouses and there's a soul connection and they know that they've had lifetimes before. So it all depends on the individual. Some people just come in one and done. Other people come in many times over. Go ahead, Catherine.
What do you do if you don't agree with the choices your adult children are making?
What do you do if you don't agree with the choices your adult children are making, you take a step back, because the key word in there is adult. Now, secondly, someone can jump in, my child is being disruptive, my kid is harming themselves, or into drugs, or into whatever. You can only do so much. You can intervene to somewhat, but if the person is not receptive, you simply have to wait. So, but what we try to do is, again, and this is a big thing that I see on a daily basis in the office, is we want to live other people's lives for them, but we don't want to live our own lives. So we will tell our children, we will tell our friends, we will tell our siblings, we'll tell our parents what they should do with their life, but we won't address ourselves. So one of the ways around that is, if you've addressed yourself, if you've overcome your fears, if you've acknowledged them, if you've worked on them, why that's through therapy, why that's through meditation, why that's through exercise, why that's through having a reading, whatever your format is then you can advise somebody else. But if you're sitting there and you haven't evolved and you haven't gone through the process yourself, you really shouldn't be commenting on how another person should live their life, even though it's infuriating, even though it's very, very hard to watch. But it's best not to spiritually get involved in that, because that person will make you sick before you'll make them better. That's really how that goes. Go ahead, Catherine.
I am surrounded by people who say I'm making the wrong choice. My gut says I'm right. How can they all be wrong?
So, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who say I'm making the wrong choice. I'm convinced I'm right. How can I be wrong? You're wrong. And here's why, people. If you're surrounded with people and everyone is giving you the same response, there's something in that message that you're just not seeing. So what I mean is that if you go to work and you have a problem with X or X or X, and you go to another job and the same thing happens and the same thing happens and the same thing happens, more than likely there is something within you that you are not seeing, that your friends and family are trying to tell you that you should address. You can't go into the same situation or different jobs and the same problem arise and you not have part in this. So if the same topic is coming up over and over in your life, that is something where you have to address and say, okay, I'm responsible for this behavior. I'm making choices to do this. But if your friends are telling you bad decision, if you run it by 10 of them and 9 of them are saying bad decision, good chance you're not seeing something in there. Go ahead, Catherine.
How do I know when to tell a friend they're making the wrong choice?
How do I know when to tell a friend when they're making the wrong choice? You can tell your friend if it's putting them in danger, or if it's something that you and your friend are very close about and have discussed, and say, this may not be good for you, but I support you whenever you're going to get through it, or whatever you're doing. But I don't think that this may be I don't think this is a good choice for you. It's fine to verbalize your feelings, but don't have the expectation of the person to follow through. So I can share something with somebody. If they don't follow through, that's their business. But it's most important that you follow through, and that's what I see. I see a question on here. My brother committed suicide in my family hut. How can we... Okay, so here's the thing. When someone takes their life, and I was been wanting to do a special on this here because it's been a hot topic. When someone takes their life, everyone crosses to the other side. There is no magical format where somebody has to be delayed or whatever. People who die, die. So it doesn't matter how their death is taken. Everybody gets to cross over to the other side. So the soul is not stuck. It doesn't remain here on earth. It crosses to the other side and goes to the light and goes to peace. Sometimes the soul makes a choice to stay behind because it has a family member that it's very attached to. If it's a mother, if it's a father, if it's a sibling, the soul makes a choice to remain on earth for a while so it can continue to give you signs, so they can continue to let you know that I'm with you, so that you continue to feel them. And then as your grieving process gets better, the soul will then graduate to the other side. So that's one of those things that happens. Go ahead, Catherine.
How can I teach my children to make the right choices?
You can't. No, just kidding. How can I teach my kids? All you can do is drill it into them. You can tell them, here are consequences. One of the things that I work with the other side is consequences. What are the consequences if I follow through on this, and if I do this? Listen, I've had phenomenal ideas, and then Jasper's like, come here, let's just play this out, because we all get into that state. I'm not immune to this just because I talk to the other side. It's that I believe that, okay, this is a great idea, let's do this, but I haven't played the whole thing through. So that's why it's important to make a choice to have somebody in your life that can also ground you and say, okay, let's play this through. Let's think about this. So let's see where this is really coming from. Is this a choice of desire? Is this a choice of lust? Is this a choice of love? Or is this a choice of, I want something to fill? Or is this a choice of, this is good for me, this is the next logical step in order to get to where I need to be? Go ahead, Catherine.
Will the other side ever lead me into making the wrong choice?
Oh, great question. Will the other side ever lead me into making the wrong choice? Never. The biggest problem I have is getting people to trust what the other side has to say and making a healthy choice. Because remember, to make a good choice is hard. It means that you have to cut certain people out of your life. It means that you have to stand up for yourself. It means that you can't be a doormat. It means that you have to find your voice and your passion and your wisdom and your connection. It means that you have to address your fears. So it's very, very important on a spiritual level that we stay connected and ground ourselves in that way. Go ahead, Catherine.
Brenda asks, if you don't think you have one or don't know your path, how do you know what to choose?
So some people feel like they come in here and they say, Phil, I really don't have a path. And not everybody came in to set the world on fire. And I mean that very seriously. Some people just came in to have kids and to do their job and to chill and to enjoy their families. So not everybody came in to be a famous singer or a writer or anything like that. So your path will unfold if you allow it to unfold. So, and here's Brendan. Hi, Brendan. And Brendan's in law school, and he's made a choice to continue in law school. Yay, because we killed it last year. But there was moments in everybody's life where we say, you know what? I don't know what my path is. I don't know what I'm doing. And I always tell them, just allow it to unfold. You can't, sometimes you look so hard, it's right in front of you. You have to take a step back and allow that to happen. So if you can't find your path, just be patient and take a step back. Patience is one of the hardest things that we deal with on the other side. Go ahead, Catherine.
When I look at the poor choices I've made, there was always fear behind the decision. How can I fix that? So
when I look at the poor choices that I've made, there was always fear behind the decision. So never make a decision based in fear. Never. No matter how bad it is, never make a decision based in fear. Unless it's life or death, but hopefully no one's ever in that. But if you make a decision based out of fear, a choice based out of fear, more than likely you're going against your gut and it's going to be wrong for you. Never allow somebody to intimidate you into something. Never allow somebody to believe that they're your end-all be-all and they control you and your thinking. Never allow yourself to be a doormat. Always know that someone somewhere on the other side is protecting you and guiding you, and you can make a choice to call them into your life. Why it's your God or why it's your family or whomever you pray to. But never make a decision based in fear, because the outcome is never good. What you do is you sit there and wait, you let it pass, and then we make a decision. If you're feeling pressure to make a decision at that moment, pause and wait. Go ahead, Catherine.
Amy wants to know, how do you ask the guide for direction? And then how do you know the answer or sign is coming from your guide? So we ask our guides for direction, simply saying, I'll say, Isaac, I do not have clarity on this. Can you help me? And a day will pass, an hour will pass, or whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, it will come. But I don't put a limit on when the answer is coming. What happens is Isaac doesn't tell me the answer, it unfolds in front of me. Either it comes in the form of a person or through a reading or whatever it may be. But your guides may not be loud for some of us, but they always put somebody in our life, or they always put things in our life where we're able to know that this is the path that we're on. If you're not feeling obstruction, or if you're not coming up against a whole lot of problems, then you know you're on the right path. If you keep hitting roadblocks, you want to reevaluate what's going on. Go ahead, Catherine. Take one more. Linda says, if you don't make a decision based on fear, how do you push through fear to make the right decision? How do you push through fear to make the right decision? So pushing through fear means that I'm weeding out the false negative thoughts that are in my head. The what if this happens, this could happen. So if we weed through all of that and we listen to what Peter's just said in there, and our gut will tell you, this is absolutely right.
this works for you, or your gut will tell you this is not a good place for you to get into. Your gut will never steer you wrong. But in order to get through fear, unfortunately, you have to walk through some of the fire. And yes, it is painful. Yes, it is hard. But you will always come out for the better. So always try to play the tape through. So this week, I hope everybody can get a chance to work on their courage that we talked about last week, and also your ability to make healthy decisions that are for you and for your family. Again, we don't want to live other people's lives. We want to live our own life, and the rest will follow. Our family tends to fall into line. So if anybody needs me, go to philquinn.com. Again, all my appointments are scheduled through the website, which is philquinn.com, and I am doing a St. Jude's event. I believe it's September 19th in Danbury, Connecticut, Brookfield, Connecticut. I don't know the details. They're on my webpage event. I'm not sure how many tickets are left, but I do it every year. It's a fantastic cause. And again, I still have some openings left for the Friday nights with here at Phil in Guilford, Connecticut. And if anybody needs me, just go straight to my email. Hello, Glenn. Glenn's a great teacher of mine, and I'll talk about that one day. How I got here as well. But I thank you all for tuning in, and I thank you all for your great questions, and most importantly, I thank you all for your honesty. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad I made the choice to eventually do these Facebook Lives. It has been very therapeutic for me, and it's given me a lot of knowledge. So again, if you need me, philquinn.com, and I'll see you guys on Friday nights. Take care. Bye.